to what is that place? Oh, it's called Bombshell. It's a nice little bar, sports bar. So
Okay.
did that. Just had a few. So I don't drink like I normally do. So when I do, if I don't eat enough, then I get a little headache. I mean, it's not nothing like real bad. It's just one of those lingering, real
Right.
mild, just enough to just agitate your day and shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I took those BCS or BS
How's-
powder. That crap don't work for me. I don't know why.
It works for me instantly.
That shit. I took it and it just seemed like it made it worse. But
Really?
I'm gonna eat something here in a minute after this, and then hopefully that'll get rid of it. But actually, to be honest, for whatever reason, when I drink Coca-Cola, that gets rid of my headache quicker than anything else. Because of the acid or whatever is in it. I don't know,
Right.
or the caffeine, it always get rid of the headaches for me. So
Oh wow.
like a 1 liter of Coke and drink half of it, and then I keep belching, and next thing I know, my headache's gone.
Either that or it's a placebo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still kind of, well, I don't say recovering, but
Uh-huh.
I know you said it was a good thing that they made it to the World Series.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think they had an opportunity in that, I think it was the the fourth game.
Yeah.
And I think they had like 2 runners on base and 2 outs or something like that. And old boy ran up the wall and caught the ball, and that's how the game ended.
Oh yeah, they showed that. I think yesterday showed that for the last game, how that kind of got them back. I actually got them to win the series because I think if they'd have lost that game, the Phillies would have won. But
yeah, and
I mean, you still want them to win. Like at the end of the day, yeah, it sucks. But I knew Houston was going to win. Not knew, but I just figured because they had the best pitching in all of baseball.
Yeah.
So for Phillies to steal 2 games to me, I was actually impressed with that. Now they could have won it, like you said, if they did little things here and there, but it was still a season where I never seen them go to the World Series. I didn't even know you had a decent lineup like that. So
that's what I said. I didn't think they was going to even make the playoffs. So that was even shocked that they made it to the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. And then to the World Series, and they beat Atlanta, which is the defending champions, and well, San Diego wasn't predicted to do anything, but still.
Yeah.
So, now we just got left the Eagles because the Sixers, they done. They ain't gonna do nothing this year.
Yeah.
So, and that's funny. I was just watching the games. I watched that Minnesota-Washington game. And then I watched the post game and I was listening to them talk. And it's funny how they refuse to give the Eagles any kind of credit. Because they're talking about Green Bay and how they can't believe how bad they playing. And Buffalo even lost. And they still talking about Buffalo is the best team.
Yeah, I saw that game.
Yeah. So my point is, even though a lot of people say the Eagles got an easy schedule, at least they doing what they supposed to. They beat the teams they supposed to beat. Buffalo should beat the Jets. They lost. Green Bay ain't doing that. Minnesota got lucky and won that game. So they ain't as good as everybody think they are because Washington played them tough.
Right.
So I look at the Eagles as, even though we barely winning, but at least they still winning games and they're not losing who they're supposed to. Next week, I think Washington's going to be a tough game. I still think Washington have a chance. Then they go to Indianapolis. They lost. So, I mean, when you look at the schedule, Green Bay, Tennessee is the game I'm looking at because if they can't stop the run, that's what's going to be the Achilles heel. I watched the post game on that Prime Video, and they all said it on the panel. That's the weakness to the Eagles if you want to beat them is run the ball. Don't keep trying to outpass them.
Right.
Run the ball and play good defense because the Eagles can't stop the blitz and they can't stop the ball, running the ball. You got Washington, which is a good running team, Indianapolis coming up, Tennessee. So they can't fix their problem, then I can see them losing those games.
Yeah, and Chicago is not going to be no slouch either because they balling. Their offense is balling. Justin Fields had almost 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so we're going to see this second half is going to, how they used to say back in the day, the pretenders, you find out who the pretenders are, the contenders and the pretenders. Yeah. And we about to find out. So
yeah. Well, all they need is one win to be a winning season. If you look at all the teams, the only teams they got to worry about is Minnesota, the Giants, and Dallas, because everybody else got 4 or 5 losses. So they're going to make the playoffs. It's just you may not get home field if you choke too much in the second half. That's what's going to be the key. If they fall off and have to go on the road, then I don't think they're going to go anywhere. But if they get a home field, I think all they got to do, if they get home field advantage, they got to need one game to get to the championship.
Right.
But if they play Dallas or the Giants, I don't see them beating them a third time or 2 times in a year. Like if they play Dallas, I really hate to see that because Dallas is just give us a hard time. The Giants, we might be able to beat them. If they got to play Dallas a third time, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the Giants because they don't have no offense. They'll completely have to tank, and the coaches have to call a completely terrible game. Yeah, and mistakes all over the place to lose against the Giants because they don't have anybody on offense. Mm-hmm. So like I said,
they got what's the name though? That's what I'm saying. They can't stop the run.
Barkley, but that's what I'm saying. The Eagles' offense is potent.
Yeah.
If they can score and get a 2 touchdown lead, I wouldn't worry about it because they still have to pass to get back in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So as long as they keep playing how they on offense, like I said, the coaches is going to have to lose the game for them.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could see them losing to the Giants. But yeah, the Giants just can't keep up with them scoring wise. Yeah. That's why I think the Cowboys is probably the only team as far as playoff wise in Tampa Bay that they will have to worry about. Now, if the Rams creep in there, then the Rams in Seattle. But like the Giants, Minnesota, I wouldn't even worry about them because they don't really have anybody.
Yeah.
But and without further ado, let's get into it. So this is what episode 14. As always, thank you, beautiful people, for joining us. Like and subscribe. So we're just gonna jump right into it.
In a world of envy, analyze as these guys looks to see. They clones to the naked eye, the dynamic dude. No pesticides, they organic, day and nights the podcast. In panoramic in 4K, live streaming on your airwaves. No cliche to downplay, this ain't no child's play. Twin brothers close-knit bonding, they wonders of the world, they monsters. The twin Tompkins, brought only born. They travel the world stomping at the break of dawn daily. The iron's pumping, my brain no brothers, about to bring you their life. Look no further, everybody, cause it's day and night.
Into it. So this week, it's going to be, like I said before, it's like all the topics can be controversial, but this one, it kind of hits me home more than the rest of them. And so we're basically talking about the cancel culture. So I'm pretty sure you and everybody else out there, unless you're living under a rock somewhere or just not into sports, but even not sports, with Kyrie, but Kanye West was the first, and now Kyrie Irving. So they basically, in my opinion, is being lynched. This is the modern day lynching. And these, in my opinion, these are 2 strong black males that's perceived as leaders in the community, and they're being used as an example. So back in the day, during slavery, it used to be called buck breaking. So they'll pick like the most dominant slave or male that was perceived as a leader in the community or in the tribe, in the group, and they would purposely put them up and try to do everything they can to break them so nobody else in that group were even thinking about try to rise up and try to overcome, slavery or whatever the case is. And I believe that's what they're doing with Kanye West and with Kyrie Irving. Now, I actually went back and read some of the statements that Kanye made. Some of them could be perceived as far-fetched or out of there. Kyrie, his to me is more to me, his is more personal and attacked than Kanye West, because Kyrie basically just posted, what is it? Negro slave or Hebrew to Negro. He just posted on his Instagram about the movie. And then he made some comments and stuff like that, and they took it and ran with it.
They got a playbook against you Negroes.
Right.
Play it again.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind.
Got a whole
They got a playbook against you Negroes.
Right.
Play it again.
So a lot of people are saying that he deserved it, which I don't think he deserved it because he just posted it. And I forget who it was that actually brought this up. It was Jay Williams on ESPN. He asked the question, he said, what I don't get is Kyrie, you know, he may have did some things that could be perceived as wrong. He apologized. But why is he getting suspended? Why is he getting criticized? And the platform that posted the movie, nothing is happening to them. Nobody's saying anything about him. So It goes back to my favorite saying. People always focus on the effect and not the cause. So Kyrie Irving is not the cause. He's just an effect of it. So this is a movie that's been played. I think it's over 2-3 years old anyway. And Amazon is actually the ones that's hosting this and airing this movie. So why are they not being taken down and why not being deemed as anti-Semitic? And he just basically posted this. And he said in the interview, I watched the interview, he said he don't agree with everything that's in there. He just posted it and that was it. But people are trying to basically say that he's anti-Semitic and that he preaches hate and stuff like that. It's just getting ridiculous and out of hand. And then they just recently, they posted 5 things that he has to do in order to come back to the Nets. And that's, to me, that's 100%. They're trying to use him as an example. So to me, it's like they're putting out to any black male that society perceives to have any type of influence. You even think about coming up against us, this is what's going to happen to you. It's unfortunate. So many of the so-called black leaders, I hate to say this, but I just think they're spineless. You know, they had Kobe, but they had LeBron James speak out on it. Shaquille O'Neal speak out on it. Charles Barkley speak out on it, and dogging Kyrie out, calling him an idiot and this and that. Now, this is something I've noticed. Out of all the people that said something, every last one of them has been black, and it's been black males. So I'm like, so nobody else is saying anything. So when it was on TNT, Ernie, he spoke out on it a little bit, but he actually let Shaq and Charles and Kenny was the only one that was level-headed. But Shaquille and Charles just went in on him. So my whole thing is everybody have an opinion. So just like Kyrie have an opinion, they have an opinion. So why are you calling this man an idiot? Because he chose, whether if it's right or wrong, if you perceive it to be hate speech or anti-Semitic, based off of your opinion, you can state that, but nothing happened to you. But then he states something, then he's hateful, he hates Jews, and it's just ridiculous. I don't know if you saw anything on that, but it's just getting 100% ridiculous. So what I did is I went back like I always do, and I did research as far as the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom to gather. So then the act went back and looked at hate speech. So this is what kind of irritated me, because LeBron, going back to Kanye West, you know, they filmed or recorded a show with Kanye, but he basically canceled it and was like, I'm not going to do it because I don't promote hate and hate speech. So when I went back and looked up the definition of hate speech, what is deemed in the United States. So basically hate speech is, in common language, refers to offensive discourse targeting a group or an individual based on inherent characteristics such as race, religion, gender, and that may threaten social peace. So how is it what Kanye stated was hate speech? How is it what Kyrie stated, which was hate speech? And to me, based off of this, then if you listen to hip hop, that's hate speech. Because based off of the definition, it says any offensive discourse targeting a group or individual. So do they not target women? They call women certain type of names. Sometimes they actually pinpoint individuals when they got a beef with somebody. That's hate speech based off of definition. So LeBron to me is a big hypocrite because he's saying he don't support hate speech, but he listen to hip hop with some of these lyrics in it that promotes hate. So that one pissed me off. And then the same thing with Charles Barkley, not Charles Barkley, but Shaq. And then somebody just posted out that Shaquille O'Neal owns a movie theater, and the movie theater that he owns actually aired the movie that he was calling Kyrie an idiot for posting. So it's like really getting out of hand. And I just feel as though so many of us, more so black males, because I haven't heard any females speak up on it, we are so fearful of losing money, fame, notoriety, and whatever else you want to throw out there, that they're supporting stuff and dogging out their own just because they don't want to lose anything. But I don't want to get too far off on a tangent and get off the focus of what the topic is, which is the cancel culture and basically what it is. So I'm just going to read the definition, and I'll let you go ahead and say what you feel about it and so forth. So basically, cancel culture it's been in the mainstream for 6 years. It originated in 1991, and I didn't know this, based off of that film New Jack City. And it emerged online among black Twitters in 2014. And basically Love and Hip Hop was the one that actually really put it out there. So it's more so popular in the black culture than anything else. So I think it's ridiculous that people get their butt hurt off of other people's opinions, and they can actually go online, post their feelings about how they feel about it, try to get other people to join in and get people canceled because they don't like what someone is saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you say I just want to hear your piece on it. What you got to say about it?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna jump back to what you started off with the Kyrie and LeBron and Kanye. And I agree with you on all that aspect. And you hit all the topics, the nail on the head. Basically, you said it in a nutshell, is these other black athletes that have all that platform and power, they are fearful of losing all what they gain. So they gonna play the good boy role and go against Kyrie when probably at home they're agreeing with Kyrie and saying, yeah, you did good, but they're not gonna go out publicly because, like you said it, they using Kyrie as an example, and they putting fear in all these other athletes and powerful black speakers to speak on it because they using Kyrie as a reason to say this is what's going to happen if you speak out. Even if you back them up, we're going to put you guilty by association. So they trying to disassociate themselves, which I'm not agreeing with. Just get that clear with everybody. I'm just devil's advocate, and I'm just pretty much saying what they doing isn't right. I don't agree with it. If you have that platform, you got to speak your mind. You always got to be 100% behind what you say. That's why I respect Kyrie. And I ain't gonna lie, I used to have my doubts about him because Stephen A made this point. He never targeted him saying what he said was wrong. He's consistent on saying that Kyrie finds a way to get out of playing basketball. So what he was basically saying is Kyrie puts himself in that position to keep messing up to perform on the court. So I agree with Stephen A. Like, he got to remember it affects him, but it affects the whole team. So he's supposed to be a sorority, he's supposed to be a family. So even though what he said was right, he has to know it's going to be consequence. Because every time he says something, I'm sure by now he knows they're going to target him. There's going to be a consequence. So to me, I would say he's an activist. Clearly, he has a lot to say about social stuff going on, and I love him for that. I think he really needs to sit down and ask himself, do I want to keep playing basketball or do I want to convert and transition to being an activist? Because you speak on a lot of stuff that you clearly 100% you behind it and you're adamant about it, and nobody's knocking him for that. Right. And he should have that platform being an athlete. You shouldn't lose your position of playing ball, but in the world we live in, and you said it, Matt, they want control. They gonna do what they can to keep you quiet and make you be a little puppet. Again, that's not right, but that's basically what they're doing. But he's big enough, I think, now to where if he was to leave basketball, he could be an activist and people will still follow him more because who he is and what he built. And I think he probably have more followers because they can respect him, the ones that's really respecting what he's doing, and say, you know what, Kyrie, that's a big decision to leave basketball and go into being a Black activist because you're so adamant on what you speak on. Because me personally, I don't think what he said was that offensive. Now, a lot of people are gonna be like, well, it's sensitive, it's talking about Jews. Well, everybody is sensitive now that you can't say anything without someone else getting offended by it. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on now, it's not right. But at the end of the day, talk to the person on the side, communicate with each other, air that out. But you gotta put it out on the media and be like, look, this dude is wrong for what he's saying, and he's stupid, like Barkley and all them. Again, they just riding the wave because they know if they say something, it's gonna come at them. So they just playing scared. So on that note, on them, I embrace them because LeBron is the biggest choir boy. Mm-hmm. He realized he's doing a business decision. He know he has all these accolades, so he ain't never going to speak out. He's the good boy, the good person to speak for the media. So he already see his role. So I don't expect him to come out and say anything different because that's just who he is. He already put himself out there. Every social thing that's been going on over the last 4 years, LeBron always played the high road. He never really said anything controversial. When he did, they targeted for him and then he backed off. So it tells me he ain't ready for it. Kyrie, and I love him for that. He's like, hey, it's a consequence I'm gonna deal with, but I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. You know, like he did kind of off subject. He defended Ben Simmons. Mm-hmm. How everybody was talking trash about him. He speaks his mind, and a lot of people don't like that. Like you said, people don't like a person that's straightforward, tell you what you don't want to hear, and they get offended by it, so now they try to set you up. So I believe he should really think about playing basketball or being an activist because he can't keep doing this because they're going to keep doing the same thing. And this is what I mean where he got to think about the team. Because if you're a team player, you got to also look at it like, even though I know I should say this, because that's who I am, he got to think about if they're going to target me, it's going to affect these guys in the locker room. And I can't keep putting them under the bus for me. Sometimes you got to stand alone instead of standing alone and affecting your team, because now you can't play on the team, so you're losing team chemistry. And this is 3 years in a row, something happened where he spoke out and he's getting, punished for it. Again, there's nothing wrong with him doing that. I just think he needs to really ask himself, do I want to keep playing basketball? Now, he might say I'm using this as my platform, but can he really? Because when he does, they punishing him for it because he's speaking the truth and nobody want that. But if he do it on his own as an activist, people are still going to have targeting at him. But again, he's not putting his team, the players, I'm not talking about the organization, but his teammates. As everybody say in sports, we a family, we stick together. So he got to look at that aspect too. So that's how I feel about the Kyrie and that situation. Kanye, he's a dude that another guy. He speaks his mind, and it's crazy how they took all his accolades. They broke all his deals, Nike, all of that. And the thing is, this guy's been speaking out for years. Everything he says has been controversial. So I think they just didn't like the comment he made about the Jews and all that. And they just, again, like you said, they're using him now as a platform or as a target because they see that people actually following him. So they got to put him down to make you lose confidence in him. So he's going to have to reroute himself and do the same thing. I'm not knocking them for what they're doing. I think they got to realize and adjust and still be who they are, but just know with the platform they on, they start trying to steal that from them now. So I think they still should be where they are. I think they shouldn't stop. They're going to have people coming at them. You just got to figure out another way, you know? Even with the media, the online canceling and all that. You know, your voice want to be heard. I think nowadays you still can. It's going to be a different avenue, but I think that's what they should really do because they both smart, intelligent men, you know, and they conscious of what's going on around them, and people don't like that.
Oh, this is why I have kind of pushback. I get everything you said 100%. But the one thing where, like I said, I had pushback is with, this was on his social media account.
Right.
So, and I get it because I know some athletes, and I think Barkley said it, and I forget another athlete said during the season, they close their social media accounts because all the stuff they get, fans sending in hate mail, and they don't want to be a distraction. So from that aspect, it makes sense. But from the aspect of he's still a person, he's still a human being, he's still a citizen. So we make them, not me and you, but people make them as far as who they are. They put them there in that limelight. So in a sense, can you really fault the athlete? Like, they're not putting themselves out there. These greedy companies that want to sell their products are using them to promote their product. So in a sense, it's not the athletes that's doing it, it's these companies. So they're like, hey, if they're going to make money off of me, then why not make money for myself? So to me, a part of who they are is being taken from them. So you're saying basically he can't be just a regular person and have a social media account. So, and I get how he's thinking. He's thinking, I'm just like anybody else. I'm a person. I'm not just playing basketball. Again, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. Y'all are. Y'all are the ones that's paying hundreds of dollars to come see me. Y'all are the ones that's screaming at the top of your lungs when you see me and trying to get my autograph. So you're putting me as this special person and almost godlike. So I'm not putting myself out there. So why can't I be just a person, just like you're just a person? I'm just in an occupation. So why can't I have a social media site? Because there's other people that post nonsense. And this is where it irritates me. They have no issue with posting hate with all these videos of people getting shot, people getting robbed, people getting murdered, people cussing each other out. That promotes hate and it promotes violence. So you're more worried about this man posting something and him putting his opinion than all this other nonsense that's on social media. So that's where I have a firm pushback, is because if you was fair like that across the board and everything, then it would make sense to me. But to me, it's obvious they're being targeted. And like I said, they don't want any black males to come up and come against the man or the organization, however you want to coin it. And like I was saying earlier, it's 100% blatant that that's what they're doing. They're trying to make an example. And it's crazy. But to touch a point that you said, as far as like he has to be careful, and I'm with you on that. Like, if you're a target, so anything you say and do that's going against the grain, people coming at you. And I think that's where he's stuck, is because he's in that mindset of, you're not going to tear me down. You're not going to shut my mouth. It's the First Amendment, freedom of speech. So why should I be quieted because you don't like what I'm saying? And then on the flip side of it, like you were saying that maybe he should, have a hard conversation with himself of thinking, should I be an activist? I agree, but that's what I'm saying, is going back to, I'm a basketball player. Y'all chose to put me in this limelight. So why should I step down from something I love to do because y'all are making all athletes, not just him, but all athletes, to be these special people? Only thing they're doing is a profession. Because in my eyes, and I was telling someone this the other day, like, it don't make sense to me how people be falling and screaming over celebrities and stuff. I'm like, they just a singer singing a song. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So to me, people get mad at these celebrities, entertainers, or what have you, over things they say. And to me, these people are forgetting they're still people. They're not putting themselves out there. We're putting them out there. So if we was to stop giving them not giving them accolades, but giving them all this godlike attention, then maybe they won't get so full of themselves. But then again, like I said, it goes back to the corporations. It's all about them selling their product and their service, and then they pay these celebrities, entertainers, and stuff. Where you got firefighters, military, doctors, construction workers. To me, those are the people that should be celebrated because they're building the infrastructure. Right. You know, so you know what I'm saying? Like this country is backwards. Yeah, and that's what blows my mind, and that's why I wanted to talk about this cancel culture thing, because, like you said, people are so sensitive. You can't say anything. Like, nobody allowed to have their opinion. Yeah. And the thing is, then it goes back to, well, you can have your opinion, but keep it to yourself. Why does everybody else need to hear it? But then, that goes to the freedom of speech thing. Because if you look at social media, everybody is promoting what they feel as though they want to promote. Whether they're promoting their business, they're promoting themselves, they're promoting the ideology, a thought, something. Everybody's doing something. Yeah. And I just think it's unfair that a celebrity, because they have influence, is being held to a different standard. Whereas if you look at some people, like some of these Instagram models, some of them got 84K followers. Even some of the podcasters got over hundreds and thousands of followers. So they are influencers. So these people are not promoting hate. So it's like, it's getting out of hand. And I don't know how you're going to stop it, because again, it goes back to that First Amendment, the freedom of speech thing. Right. And the hate speech, that's another thing that irritates me, because people are using that for fuel to cancel people while they're promoting hate. They're saying this and they're saying that. But like I said, if you want to say hate, you gotta look at some of these songs, some of the content that's on television shows. Like, seriously, I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said about the hate thing. Because if anybody really investigate that and research it, everybody be canceled and nobody be able to do anything. Thank you. So, like you said, they have to target the influence. Who has the most influence on other people? Unfortunately, it's the celebrities. And it's funny, and I was watching, I think it was Stephen A, and they was talking about that, and they were saying the same thing, like he's a regular guy, and he wanted to ask to be put on that. We put these athletes and singers on that pedestal, and then our expectation is for them to be perfect, like they're not human. Mm-hmm. And then when they do something that they don't agree with, they deemed it as being offensive. So he was saying that regular people do this all day, but nobody's gonna make a big deal about it because they don't have that spotlight. So again, unfortunately, because where he's at, that's why he's always gonna be targeted more. Because like you said, everybody would be canceled because everybody has some hate in them that they're gonna have posted or doing memes on each other. So they overlook them, they're gonna gloss them because they as I always say, a person of interest. They ain't nobody that's gonna be a threat to anybody organization-wise, because what are they? They just regular people. But any athlete, singer that has all those followers, yeah. And again, to go backwards again with Kyrie, when you said that counter statement of what I was saying about him having a judgment day with himself, leaving basketball or staying, the only reason why I'm saying that, not to be as an activist, but for his teammates is what I mean, because I think personally the organization is guilty by association. They did that 5-game suspension to divide and conquer. We suspended him. Somebody in that locker room was gonna get tired of Kyrie. Dude, you always doing something and you're not with the team, so you're causing us to lose chemistry. So now they're gonna divide them in the locker room because they're gonna get tired of his antics when he ain't really doing nothing wrong. Like you said, this is on his own time, on social media, which we all had a right to do, but they using him as a target. I think, again, personally, I ain't no proof of this. This is my own personal opinion from listening to different people talk about what Kyrie did, and they were speaking on this on the talk show, that the owner had texted Kyrie and told him, you need to apologize. Mm-hmm. He didn't directly respond right away. So then he got butthurt, and because of that, he said, well, we're going to give you a 5-day suspension. So I think he's doing that because they're like, we got to get this guy to act right. So if he don't act right, we're going to punish him. But by punishing him, it's a ripple effect. So now the team's going to be affected because they don't have that continuity. They're going to get tired. They was making a comment that KD never says nothing about Kyrie antics. He always like, Kyrie is Kyrie. That's my dude. I'm going to let him be him. So they trying to really get to the point. Every time you do something, they just going to keep doing these suspensions to the point where the team's going to get tired of him and be like, look, man, you're causing havoc, even though we agree with you, but you're affecting us now because we can't play as a whole team. It may never happen, but maybe that's their own weird way of disciplining him, guilty by association. Because of you, now your team got to suffer. You know what I mean? Now, you're military, right? So if one, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if they even do this anymore. Like if one soldier does something wrong,
yeah, mass punishment.
Yeah, the whole unit, squad had to do push-ups or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So you're basically saying, even though you're the individual doing your own thing, you are a part of a team. So it affects everybody. So everybody got to deal with your antics. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Again, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just thinking maybe that's a little underlying agenda that they trying to do with Kyrie, because it's ridiculous. Everything he does now, they targeting him and they put it on media and airing it and just make it a big fiasco because they know the effect that it's going to do. Mm-hmm. You know, because the teammates going to get tired of it at some point, I think. You know, so, and it's nothing you can really do. Like you said, you practice the First Amendment, you had that freedom of speech, but do you really? No, I don't think so, because they find a ways to still target you for speaking your mind. You know, even though you had that right, technically. So I think he should be an activist. He shouldn't quit what he loved to do. I'm not saying that because it's like giving up, though, throwing in the towel. But at the same time, you got to be conscious of what's going on and be like, man, they just handcuffing me. No matter what I do at this point, I can sneeze wrong or do something. These jokers going to come at me. Are they going to shut me up? But I'm too strong of a powerful man mentally to let these people shut me up. So I'm going to be me. And that's what I mean. So when he knowing that, that's when he got to ask himself, I'm being me, but guess what? Now my team suffer. So that's my only thing with that is at this point, and that's why I agree with Stephen A. His whole argument is he's a wonderful man, a great player, but if you're a part of an organization, that's you go to war with, if I dare use that term, in the trenches, you got to think about them too, because you know that people don't like to hear you speak your mind. So at some point, you got to start thinking about your people around you too, because it affects everybody, not just you. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, I hear you, but that's, again, I got a little pushback on that.
Yeah.
So to me, again, it's not Kyrie, because you're saying like Stephen A. I don't totally disagree with Stephen A. Because to me, he's putting too much to blame on Kyrie. Now, last year, it was one time when he was saying, he called in and like, I need some time for myself. Right. I'm not coming to work.
Yeah.
So is that his fault? Or why did they leak that information? So why is this stuff even being put out to the media? So to me, you can't blame him. You got to blame the ones, again, cause and effect. I look at the cause, not the effect. Kyrie is the effect. So the cause is, why this information being given to the media? What does that have to do with them? The only thing they have to say is Kyrie is not like Pop used to do. DMP, personal reasons. Mm-hmm. So why whoever is giving this information to the media, well, he called in and did this. He's not getting his vaccine. It's not Kyrie. If he had a meeting with the owner and the coach, it was like, look, I don't want to take the vaccine or whatever. They could have kept that quiet. They chose to speak out and say, this is what Kyrie is doing. So they amplified the situation because all that stuff is within the organization. And I don't believe that BS when people say, well, you're getting paid, so that's public right to know. No, it's not. That's solely between the organization and that individual. Now, as far as you were saying that he's doing it to his teammates, again, that stuff should be kept in-house. So all this circus stuff that's going on has nothing to do with Kyrie. He's not putting that information out. He's not going to the media and talking to reporters and saying, well, this is what I'm doing. Someone is leaking information, and then they're coming to each individual player and asking those questions. Whereas if they keep it in-house, then it'll just be an in-house problem. And then tend to use the analogy or the example with the military. That's what we did. Like with the squad leader kept whatever's in the squad personal.
Right.
So if it's something he can't handle it, then he take it to the platoon sergeant. And whatever happens when the platoon, they keep it in the platoon. They don't go run tell the first sergeant or the company commander and the battalion commander. You deal with it at your level until it gets to a point where you have to go higher. So that's why I don't blame Kyrie, because he's not doing this. If he went to the media and did this stuff and was posting stuff on his social media account, then I get it, because now he's causing attention to himself. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. If he did that, then I agree with you.
Did. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought that the ESPN found out and then they put it on their one of their shows.
No, he had posted it, and then that's why it got blown out, because he posted it. Somebody saw it and then said, hey, did you see the comment or the quote or whatever it was that was said by Kyrie? And that's when it went up to the front office, and the front office like, look, you need to apologize because this is anti-Semitic, what you said, and we don't condone that. Then he went out and did a interview and said publicly, yeah, I said some things. So I agree with you 100. Again, I'm not disagreeing with anything that he's doing. All I'm saying is you still got to be conscious of what's going on, what is being targeted to you. I'm not saying fold the tent and give up, but you got to adjust to it and play that, dare I say, play that game, but just arrange it to where you know what they're going to come at you with. Whatever you do is going to be a consequence. And I'm not saying be on pins and needles, but just know, and I used to tell my daughters this, everything you do comes with a consequence. You always got to be conscious to know, regardless if you deem that it's not bad to you, everybody else is always going to be somebody that's not going to agree. And if it's somebody with power, it's going to be the main ones that's going to target you. So just know whatever you choose is a consequence. Theme is not a right or wrong. If it is right or wrong, you still know it's a consequence. So that's all I'm saying. He got to know by now. And all I'm saying is his track record speaks for itself. Regardless if the media put it out there, this is the third year in a row that something's happened. So now I got to reflect like, okay, these fools clearly got it out for me. I'm not going to stop being me, but you said it. Talk within your teammates and be like, look, y'all, I'm going to do me. Now, if they did that, then that's fine. If they all communicate and be like, look, Kyrie, do you? We got your back. We family. Then that's all out the door. But to me, it seems like he's not doing that. And then the media, and I know the media is very manipulative. Trust me, I know from firsthand experience. They'll twist the story around. They do sound bites where they do a part of the interview and make it seem like that person was talking about another person instead of doing the whole interview. So I know they use people as puppets. But I'm just saying that he should know by now that it's going to be some kick pushback. So he just got to be ready for it and have a counter for that. Because now it's to the point where I think they targeting him on purpose. They wait for him to do something.
Yeah,
I really do. And it's not the organization. It's just people that know this man have influence because he's an activist. The way he talks, I think if he ever retired, he'd be a good activist on civil issues, you know, because I feel like he has that in him. That's all I'm saying is because if you speak on it, you should have the right to do that. And I had a friend tell me, well, he basketball player. We don't pay to go watch him to speak on other issues, just play basketball. And I said the same thing you just said, but people come and ask him questions and then he respond and the media put it out there like he just going out there randomly talking stuff, but it's not that. They come up and ask him questions and then he's speaking and they have the ability to put sound bites of what they want people to hear to cause an uproar. So, I mean, again, I'm not knocking the brother. I mean, I like I said, I like him a lot as an activist, but at some point, your team, y'all got to talk amongst each other. You made a good point. If they talk in-house, then they should have understanding. If he's doing that, then I don't have no problem with what he's doing. I just know that he needs to know that by now it's going to be consequences. And it's fucked up because the dude is a hell of a ball player. He shouldn't have to stop playing basketball. And I don't think he will. But at this point, I think that's their agenda. They're trying to discourage him from doing that because they're going to keep doing this.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to break him. But this, I battle with that because I kind of see myself, me and Kyrie have like a lot of the same type of characteristics and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is not speaking against anybody else, but because me and him are kind of like kindred spirits in a way, there's many different type of leaders and there are different type of leadership styles.
Right.
So he's the type of person to where he stands on something, and I believe the same thing. Like I'm looking at it from the perspective of, like I said, there's other people out here that's doing stuff that's promoting true hate. So because they're trying to silence him because they don't like him, and it's a personal agenda against him, and again towards strong black males. But for people like that, how we think, we're looking at the point of, okay, you're not going to silence me, and I'm not going to fold just because everybody else says I should do it and I'm affecting other people. It is because that's affecting him directly. Like he stands on his beliefs.
Right.
And I always say this, I used to say it when I was in the military. As black people, we would not be where we are today if it wasn't for those who stood. So anytime you come up against pushback, and that's what a true leader does, sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself, other people that's around you for the greater good. It may not be seen and noticed now, it's down the line that he's looking at. He's looking ahead, what everybody's looking at right now. So for those that think like that, he's just looking at, well, I'm just going to have to stand because right is right and wrong is wrong. If I fold now, and again, this is their whole purpose, is to defeat that strong mental vigor that you want to stand for something and you're not going to be silenced. So they're doing their best to defeat him and instill in other males, young black males, whether they're young or older, hey, you better not even think about standing because we're going to take everything from you. So again, like I said, it's buck breaking. So because to me, that's what's evidently being done. I hope he stands because the worst, to me, he shouldn't apologize. I wouldn't apologize because he said what he said and they forcing him. They forced him to apologize. And somebody said this today. There's like, if you look at it, the reason why we're looked at as far as any other race is weak is because we don't stand. Like what happens? Everybody else, they stand as a community. If something happens to them, they stand united as one. It's like, you're not going to do this to our people. You're not going to silence us. But for some reason, we don't stand together. We go against each other and we fold. Now, I get it because he has young children and I don't know, maybe his business and stuff is not set up the way it's supposed to be. And he knows that he still has to continue to make money. But if he truly believed that he didn't do it intently as far as with hate. And I saw that the interview with the guy, when the reporter asked him a question and he told him, he's like, what does this have to do with basketball? I answered the question.
Right.
And the guy got mad because he said, why would you post that on your platform knowing that it promotes or, suggests anti-Semitism? But that's, again, what boggles my mind. Where I would have stood is because, again, where did he get it from? So, again, cause and effect. Why are you going after the person opposed to the one that's actually promoting it on their platform, which is Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon?
Right. And
then I found this out. It was a sister that was on YouTube. Come to find out, the NBA is trying to get a lucrative deal with Amazon to put their games on there. So do you really think they're going to put pushback and they're trying to get paid? No.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe he should stand, because it's wrong what he's doing. And I'll just have to tell my teammates, look, what they're doing is wrong. Y'all either stand with me or against me.
Yeah.
It's not Kyrie that's doing it. It's the media that's doing it, and everybody else. So that's why, like I said, I stand strong on this one. This one hit me personally because when I was in the military, I was like Kyrie. I stood on things. I was ostracized and all that. Talked about, because there's certain things I believed in and I stood on. And they would try to do everything they can to, make me look bad and paint a certain picture about me and stuff. And like you said, they'll find any and everything they can to break you. But yeah, I just feel as though that's the whole intent of that. But,
well, let me ask you this. Do you think he's been in the league, 8 years, something like that? Do you think, and this is just hypothetically speaking, if he was to stop playing basketball, that he would still be as powerful as a messenger or influencer if he just decided to walk away and just do him and just speak on activists or civil issues? Do you think that people would still listen to him more or less if he was to do that?
Well, that's the whole point of this whole topic is the cancel culture, because I don't think it matters. Like the guy, Andrew Tate, he's from, I forget where he's from, but he's from Europe. He's an ex-boxer, and he had his podcast, and he said something about women or something like that, and they canceled him. So I don't think it matters because, like I said, this whole cancel culture thing doesn't really have anything to do with status. It's if somebody is out there and they see something that you post and they don't like it, then they'll go in and it picks up steam, and then you get canceled because then politicians and other people get wind to it, and then they cancel you. So I don't think it matters if he stopped right now or if he stopped 5 years ago. As long as it's somebody going against the system, regardless what your status is, you still get canceled. So to answer your question, no, I don't think it would make a difference.
No, I mean, I hear you. It makes 100%. But the only reason why I'm going to go the other way is because I think, well, my point is I'm thinking, and I'm speaking on the media and the politicians, whoever don't like what he's doing, I think they won't target him as much because he's not playing basketball. That's what I'm saying. I think they're targeting him because what he does for his profession. And I'm thinking they feel like because he's a basketball player, he has too much influence. So I'm thinking if he was to stop, they would probably look at it as nobody's going to listen to him. He's not a ball player no more. Not saying that it will happen, but I'm just saying in their own weird mind, maybe that's why they mess with him so much. Because he's famous basketball, international player, not just in the country, but internationally he's known. So that's maybe why I asked that question. Do you feel like it would be a difference? Like, will you think they even target him as much or go after him? Just like Kanye, he's internationally known. He's worldwide. So that's not, again, I'm not saying that it's right for them doing it. I'm trying to say that's probably the reason why they're coming after him is because of the status of what they have. Because if you're a regular person, if I'm working at where I work, Futaba, they're like, this fool, who is he? He ain't nobody. He ain't influencing nobody. And I can have 80K followers, but because my status is Futaba, they don't deem that as a threat. So they won't pay too much attention to me. But because of who he is the reason why they targeting him. That's the only reason why I asked that. I'm not saying that it will happen that way. I'm just thinking devil's advocate. Again, not saying he should fold up and just run. I'm just saying that's just their mindset. So I'm kind of, again, playing devil's advocate on their mentality. Or maybe that's what they're trying to accomplish. That's our agenda at the end of the day is to do that. Just credit him because of his status as a ball player. Because the LeBron statement the politician made a couple of years ago, shut up and just dribble. So they don't want any athlete speaking because they feel like they too influenced. That too many people follow them. Because if they regular Joes in the media, and I looked into it, I did a little research, and they had 10 people that got canceled. Kevin Hart, I didn't know that, but they canceled one of his shows from a comment he made. It was some big names on there. Kevin Hart's the only one that stood out, but it was like 10 of them within 2021 that got canceled for making comments. So the reason I'm saying that is all these people, again, was big name actors and actresses and movie stars. So I think that's why they being canceled. Again, not saying that is right, but the way these people think, they feel threatened because who they are and what they do. They feel like these people are too powerful. So if you lose some of that status, they might get ignorant and think, oh, because he don't play basketball, nobody's gonna listen to him. You know, so that was my end game on why I say he should think about being an activist and playing basketball. He should be able to do both, just to clear that up. I'm not saying he should quit doing what he loves. This is like somebody telling me to stop being a trainer because you make too many comments and it has nothing to do with personal training. I'm not going to stop doing it, you know, but if I feel that passionate and I feel like that's my calling is to be an activist, then I would go that route, you know, but if he should be able to do both, just to clear that up.
Okay. Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense what you said as far as with the status, you know, because they do have more reach because of who he is. But, you know, everybody's monitored by the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
Yeah, so government is monitoring everybody. Now, just because of his impact, yeah, but like, for example, if we were to blow up toward a certain point and we started promoting or talking about things that deemed to be inappropriate or we're steering people in a certain way.
Oh, yeah, they shut us down.
Yeah. So it's just the media kind of illuminate the whole situation because of who he is. But I hope he's staying his ground. I do. Because like I said, it's evident what they're trying to do. And to me, in order for us to get to a certain place, we have to stand. And
yeah, I agree.
Sometimes you got to sacrifice, you know, regardless what it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's, like I said, we wouldn't be where we are today if the ones before us didn't sacrifice those.
Yeah, it's facts. Facts.
But I don't know. I think it was a good conversation today.
Yeah, it was.
So everybody that's out there, like, subscribe, comment. I'm definitely looking forward to some comments on this one. If not, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Love y'all. A thought becomes a belief, and a belief becomes your manifestation.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Enjoy.
Yes. Be safe.
They wonders of the world, they monsters. The twin Tompkins brought our only on. They travel the world stopping at the break of dawn daily. The iron's pumping. I bring no brothers, about to bring you their life. Look no further, everybody, cause it's day and night. Let's go.